Como les comentaba, vamos a empezar nuestra interesante jornada con el profesor Dimitrius Buhalis, procedente de Inglaterra, quien nos va a hablar sobre el turismo inteligente y su impacto futuro en el turismo y la hospitalidad. El profesor Buhalis es un experto en gestión estratégica y marketing, con especialización en aplicaciones de la tecnología de las comunicaciones en el turismo, viajes, hotelería e industrias del ocio. En la actualidad es el director del Tourist Lab, Established Chair and Tourism, en el Departamento de Turismo y Hospitalidad de la Facultad de Administración de la Universidad de Bournemouth en Inglaterra. Su área de investigación se extiende a través de diversas disciplinas y está en desarrollo del estudio y adopción de innovaciones para la creación de valor para las organizaciones y los consumidores. Ha escrito varios libros, entre ellos Conectividad y las consecuencias de ser desconectados, realidad aumentada en los sitios del patrimonio cultural, entre otras importantes y destacadas publicaciones. Con ustedes, el profesor Buhalis. Bienvenido.
Hola, buenos días a todos. Buenos días a todos. It's a great pleasure to be back in Colombia. I'm starting to love this country and to do a whole range of different things. I'd like to take you through a range of different developments and to show you where I think that the future of hospitality and tourism lies. And I really like to thank Hotelco for inviting me and having me around. And I really want to thank Patrick and Diana because they stole the show yesterday, so I had to rewrite the presentation last night because a lot of the things they've covered already. Okay, let's start a little bit interactive. How many of you are hoteliers? Okay. How many of you are academic students, consultants? Okay, some of those. Very nice. How many are you from government or tourism sector? Okay. Excellent. Okay. Most of the things I'm going to say are really about hoteliers, but they apply to everybody. Now, I'd like to take you through a whole range of slides very quickly. This is how they normally dress me, but I escape. These are my books. Please buy my books. For every book that you buy, I have a pint of beer, cerveza, so it's a good deal. That was not a joke, buy a book. A lot of times people expect academics to be very theoretical. These are some of the companies I've worked with, and I'm constantly working with a lot of different companies around the world. So there's a lot of experience from practical information that I can bring into this show. And I really want to take your kids away. I really want to take your children away to educate them and bring them to Bournemouth University so they can see the future and they can see how a lot of those things are happening. The problem we have got is that quite often decision makers are people who have got legacy thinking and they are not in a position to understand the new developments and understand what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking into what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And I'll argue about sending your kids to be educated into what we are going to do in the future. This is the website for my university, and this is where you'll find a lot of information about this. A lot of the things I'm going to say are really looking to the future, and they assume that we are already doing a very good job on where we are. I'm going to say later on some of the examples where we are not doing a very good job. But it's absolutely critical that we do the basics right, and we assume that we've actually covered that. What happened is, in the last few years, people got power and they've got power to discuss anything online and share any opinion online and bring our consumers to other consumers and inform them about what's happening. Everybody is connected. This is my grandmother, no season that she could have been. And this is what you normally find at home, especially if you've got young kids. The more technology we use, the more disconnected we are from the people who are around us, and the much more connected we are with people who are far away from us. And we've got all this paradox, this is called the connectivity paradox, where we really need to manage a whole range of different players and different relationships that are coming now from a very different backgrounds and very different ways of doing things. The information consumer is also becoming a prosumer. He is also at the same time producing information and spreading information on a consumer-generated content around the world. And guess what? Our consumers do not believe us. Have you ever seen a hotel that says, come here and you're going to get salmonella? Have you ever seen a hotel that says, come here and there's a major construction next door? So the consumers do not believe us, but they believe other consumers that they are doing things. Some of the developments that we have is called the Internet of Things, and the Internet of Things means we will have all these different devices, mobile phones, connected cars, connected televisions, connected residential things, all of those connected, and exchanging information simultaneously. So this is 50 billion connected devices by 2020. And this will generate a new environment where you're going to have what we call consumer centricity, customer in the middle, a lot of devices around them, that they'll be able to interconnect with them and they'll be able to take their profile with them. Lots of different networks, and the machine will understand what is the best network to interconnect, and then a whole range of different applications, from advertising, from e-health, from communications, telepresence, e-government, and everything else, all connecting us everywhere, anytime, any device. So the environment is changing dramatically to be very consumer-centric and to be able to bring to the consumer power to interconnect with all organizations around it. The Internet of Things demonstrates how connectivity is going to happen and how many different players are going to be connected by 2020. And this is expanding at a speed that we've never seen before. So gradually we start talking about the Internet of Everything, where smart connected products will transform the business and they'll transform all the business processes. These are a range of technologies that are coming through the process. And this range of technologies are coming forward that they're going to influence the hospitality and tourism industries. Things like augmented reality, things like 3D scanners, 3D printing, gamification, augmented reality. A lot of those technologies are coming our way, and I'm going to touch on some of them in a minute. But what we know is technology is emerging, and it's emerging really, really fast, and it's changing everything we do and the way we do it. Now, I know that many hoteliers are very busy. And they are very busy doing their normal operations. And all of a sudden, they forget what's happening around them. So this is one of the major trends that we call disruption right now, which is the peer-to-peer network, where in the past, we used to have a hotel in the middle and we had the consumers around, and we spent a lot of time doing segmentation and trying to find out which are the customers that we need now to attract. Increasingly what's happening is that we're going to this kind of situation where everybody is speaking to everybody. And the limits of who is a supplier and who is a consumer are becoming blurred. Anybody heard of Airbnb? Who likes Airbnb in here? Okay, we've got two researchers, academics who like Airbnb. Any hotelier who really likes Airbnb? Why? Okay. I've got some very bad news for you. I don't know if Diana has arrived already, but actually, Airbnb is valued more than Marriott hotels. Marriott hotels, before the start of the connection, had 4,000 hotels, and they're valued for $21 billion. Airbnb is forecasting $900 million in revenues in 2015, a loss of about $150 million, and it was valued last June to $24 billion with no assets. So hoteliers, I hope that I got your attention, because this is going to change a whole range of things, and it's going to change everything dramatically. And if I were you, I'll go to Airbnb today and look who is on Airbnb in your town and what they offer. Welcome to your new competition. This is Cali, last night. Let's play the first video so you understand where we're going. Welcome to your new customer. This is your new customer. These guys are born with technology embedded in their genes and they're ready for it. And where are we? Hola, hola. Can you switch off that? Okay. This is the traditional hotel receptions that we still find. Are we ready for the new generation? Are we ready for our new customers? Would you like the new tools, or are you too busy frying eggs? I think a lot of people will lose their jobs, and a lot of people will lose their properties. Now, in my previous life, I used to be a photographer. Anybody remembers Kodak? Anybody remembers Fuji? Agfa? Okay. When is the last time that you printed pictures? Anybody who's printed pictures recently? Has anybody printed pictures? You have? Okay. When is the last time that you took a picture? A second ago. Who has taken a picture of me already? Okay, we're doing well. I'll give you an exercise in a minute because my mom does not know what I do. So I'll ask you to kind of tell my mom what I'm doing. Gustavo, can I be honest? Okay. Houston, we have a problem. You've got a serious problem. And if you don't address it, a lot of the things that we're talking about the future are irrelevant. And the big problem you have, and you know it, is the perception of people who've got about your country. So my mom, when I said I'm going to Colombia, she started getting worried. Why? Because if you look into travel information for Greece, this is travel to Greece, I did last night. This is the kind of stuff that you get, right? If you do travel to Colombia, Mr. Google is giving you this information. Firstly, is it safe to travel to Colombia? Second, Official Travel Guide to Colombia, Colombia Travel Warning, Department of State, and 10 things to know before visiting Colombia. Now, on this side, it's the first things that are coming out on Google when you type travel to Colombia. On this side is about the forum on TripAdvisor about Cali. Now, before you do the future, the intelligence, the smart tourism, you really need to address what's out there. And there are ways of addressing it. Okay, so I think for a long time, a lot of people have kind of put it under the carpet and said, okay, yes, we know, but it's actually nothing I can do about it, and it's not that bad. Now, you're not unique. I just came back from South Africa. It's the same thing. I was in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Exactly the same thing. There are a lot of places around the world that they're facing problems. But you need to address them before we go forward. It's absolutely critical. And you need to bring their expertise, and you need to actually work with the government, with the police, and everybody else to do that. And then you really need to communicate in the right way. It needs to be communicated. My mom should not be worried that I'm coming to Colombia. So when you start looking into these things, you need to be part of the dialogue. Who likes TripAdvisor? Okay. Who is using the forum on TripAdvisor regularly? The forum, not the reviews. Okay, a couple of people. I suggest that this is the first thing that you're doing. You start looking to the forum, and you work with the forum. You answer to the forum. You defend your country. You explain to people where they should go, where they should not go. What is safe to do, what is not safe to do. What is the good thing to do, and what's not the good thing to do. You really need also to look into all of those people who are answering there and qualify them. Do they give the right information about your country? There are some people who are doing a wonderful job. Some people are not doing a wonderful job for their own reasons. You really need to engage, because this is where everything is happening, and this is where you're creating your own online reputation. Your online reputation, and we'll talk about it, is absolutely critical about what you do. This is the website of Colombia Tourist Board about Cali. If you look into this, is anybody responsible for this here? Yeah? If you look into this, what's going to happen next? You will ignore it. Why would you ignore it? Because it's hygienic. It doesn't give you the right information. It doesn't tell you the things that you are preoccupied about. So what you do is you go to Google or you go to TripAdvisor. I hope I've caught your attention, because these things are critical about moving forward. What I really want to discuss then is social media, and how social media has changed the world that we're doing. We are very fortunate with Diana yesterday that she talked about Marriott and how Marriott is doing things, and I was really surprised how advanced Marriott is. But a lot of the questions yesterday was, what about me? I'm a small hotelier. What can I do? And I'm spending a lot of my time going around the world advising small hoteliers and small businesses and independent properties on what to do. And my family is running one hotel for 23 rooms, so we are on the forefront of everything that's happening. We really need to understand all the media, and we really need to understand how to use social media to create a reputation and manage our reputation. Correct your image. And this is the most fantastic opportunity you have got to correct your image, because this will enable you to bring the right image out. Now, a lot of people are now connected. This is what they used to do before, this is what they're doing now, and they've got all kinds of different social media running together, creating a lot of different things. I bet that you are using most of them. Who's using Facebook here? Yeah? Twitter? Instagram? Okay. A lot of stuff. Pinterest? Okay. Snapchat? Wow, I'm not allowed to use Snapchat, apparently I'm too old for this. So it's really about different elements of social media that they are creating the image and they're correcting the image. So you understand what social media is doing. Social media is changing everything in the world. It's changing the way we communicate. It's changing the way we manage our reputation. It changes the way that people communicate with each other. And the issue is that people do not believe us as an industry, but they believe other consumers when they're going around. So we've got a major paradigm shift. And the paradigm shift means that everything we were doing in the past is becoming more or less irrelevant. And we need to look into how we are going to communicate how wonderful things are happening. The top picture, both of those pictures are from the inauguration of the Pope in Rome. The top picture is 2005, the bottom picture is 2013. You can see the difference. People are still praying, people are still looking into the inauguration of the Pope, but they're doing it in a very, very different way. So, people in 2013, they are not only experiencing what they're experiencing, but they're taking pictures of what they're experiencing, they're sharing what they're experiencing. All of you who are taking pictures of me right now, you are collecting information, and gradually you're going to share this information on your social media. Please, when you do, add Buhalis or hashtag Buhalis, so I can see what you're doing. And I would also like you to write Colombia is safe, or Colombia love, or whatever you like to do. But start promoting your country. Start saying to the world that we're a safe place and we're going to look after you when you come here. Make that commitment on an individual basis. And gradually this is going to balloon everywhere. So if you take pictures of me, please hashtag Buhalis and Colombia is safe. Okay, and we'll see what we're going to produce. We have 500 people here. That's a fantastic opportunity to start them. That's a fantastic opportunity to say to your kids, to your friends, we need to bring out Colombia to the world. Have you seen this? This is when that plane went into the Hudson River in New York. This guy was there at that particular moment. He took the picture. It went viral. It went around the world. Please take pictures of what's happening around you. Please take nice examples and show that to the world. This is the royal wedding in England. Anybody watch the royal wedding? You don't care? Okay. Come on. Normally when I saw this picture in England, everybody goes, wow. In the 3 hours of the ceremony, there are 3 million tweets. There's another event that was happening at the same time online. People who are commenting, people who are communicating, people who are saying things. And this is about the Malaysian Airlines 370 flight that went missing. At the height of all that, it had 1 million tweets. And then different things happened, and eventually when they said it's lost, it just got another 1 million tweets. People communicate online, people spread the word online, and people discuss online. When I was growing up, you were going to the coffee place and you're meeting with your friends and you're talking with your friends. Now you're online and you're sharing everything online. We really need to harness the power of the social media. And there are a lot of techniques that they're doing this. This is what's happening in 1 minute on social media. And you can understand how much content is being created and how much people will generate and share content. And this is called the conversation prism. Right in the middle, it's you, it's your brand. It's your hotel, it's your country, your region, wherever. You really need to understand what is being discussed around different social media, therefore to listen. Then you've got to learn and understand what you need to do. And then you need to adapt, and you need to engage in conversation. Anybody who thinks that they shouldn't be doing this because it's too much work, or I'm a hotelier, why the hell am I doing this? If anybody thinks that, see at the Airbnb growth and learn from why Airbnb is growing so fast. It's not because it's cheaper. It's not that it's got assets. It's not because it's got branding. The reason why Airbnb is growing is because it is offering hospitality. And as a hotelier myself, I've got to tell you that in hotel business, we have lost hospitality. We're very business and process driven. We're cooking eggs. We are doing check-ins, but we're not hospitable anymore. We are much more focused on the process rather than the person we have in front of us. So for all my hotelier friends here, I would like you to do me a favor or do some homework. Book an Airbnb place and engage with the host. And go and experience that and see why it's different. It's a very, very good example. I was in China recently in Hangzhou, and everywhere we were going by Uber. A car was arriving, they were giving us a bottle of cold water and a fresh towel to wash. The car was air-conditioned, the driver was speaking English, and he knew what he was doing. And I asked my colleagues in China, why don't we take a normal taxi? And I said, okay, let's have a normal taxi then. The car was all dirty, smelly, the driver was not speaking English, the experience was really bad. We really need to move the game forward before I'm going to talk about smart stuff. You really need to understand what social media is applying, where your clientele, which countries are more popular than others. But what I really want you to go away with is that attention on the digital space is the currency that's going to bring you competitiveness. It's absolutely critical to understand what's happening on the space, on the digital space. Now, if you are not very good at this, please engage your kids. Your kids know how to do it much better than you do. Okay? And trust your kids when they take pictures when they're engaging and ask them to do that. Send them to me to study and ask them to educate themselves, because this is the game of the future. The game of the future is really getting engagement and attention of the customer. We'll see something like that in a minute. Father, I've seen. Oh, you already know. I'll go through several social media strategies to understand how we can do this. But it's important to look into the different players and the different processes that we need to address. First of all, with the customers, we need to inspire, inform, convert, serve, manage, handle, listen, and advocate. This is a whole circle, and you will see that in a minute. On a product development, listen, observe, develop, test. A lot of the hotels, a lot of the properties around, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. They are promising the wrong thing. Understand the context, why people are coming, what's the environment, what are they going to do. Look into the promotion in terms of brand awareness, engagement, dynamic conversations, and time-limited promotions. Engage, engage, engage with your customer. Engagement is not about giving a key and say, this is your room, sir. Engagement is understanding why they are there, welcoming them, look after them like they are in their cousin's house. Service before they arrive, during they are coming there, and after. And look into all the dynamic conversations, the hashtags, the complaint handling, everything in real time. That's why what Diana showed us yesterday with the Marriott is so advanced, because it's real time, it's dynamic. You don't have to wait the customer to go away to write a bad TripAdvisor review. You're fixing the spot. Reputation management is the biggest asset that you've got. It's not the property, it's the reputation that's actually doing things. And real time, through public conversation, listening to trends, correcting impressions is absolutely critical. And again, when things are going wrong, you need to have crisis management to be able to engage and communicate with all the stakeholders and make sure that everybody understands what's happening. Now, my father died a few years ago. But one day on a dinner table, he said, "So what do you do?" And I started talking to him about social media and stuff like that. He couldn't understand. He was 85 years old. He couldn't understand anything. And I said, "Dad, I'm telling hoteliers how to go fishing. How to go out and catch fish." He started understanding this. So what's happening is that we go out on the big sea with the customers. We throw a lot of different nets, and the nets are the social media, the platforms that we're using. And we catch the attention of the customer, and then conversion, we bring them on the boat to buy the product. So social media management is like fishing. You go out fishing, you're collecting fish, and you bring it in there. You go from exposure to discovery, consideration, conversion, to customer relation, and to retention. And that is a nice way of bringing the customers in. So first, you allow your customers to understand what you do. Then they consider whether your product is the right one. Then they convert. This is where you take the dollars. And then you create the relationship. And if you do that right, you generate funds, you improve your competitiveness. Normally, the customers are going like that. This is a pyramid. And you go from the lack of awareness, I have no idea what Colombia is. Where is Medellin? All the way that I'm learning about it, I like it. If I'm here and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, then I love it, and then I become loyal. Let me tell you something else about tourist marketing. Most of the tourist marketing is concentrating about bringing people to the destination. The minute you arrive at the destination, then you are at the mercy of the hotelier, the taxi driver, the restaurant guy, and everybody else. So far, tourist marketing was not touching the customers when the customers were on the destination. because they have already achieved what they want to achieve, bring it to the destination, right? So if you are going to Australia, Tourism Australia want to bring you to Australia, and then they have nothing to do with you, with your experience. This is changing dramatically because the customer really wants to have a conversation with those people who own the destination. So do me a favor, go tonight and look in Twitter. Who owns the Cali? Who owns Colombia? Who owns Medellin? And look into who is actually managing that relationship. Because this is the most critical relationship, and the customer increasingly is expecting to be able to have a conversation with those people who have got the power and the authority to help with their experience. What is critical is to support the customer emotional journey. Tourism is about emotions, and the more we're going through that, the more we are looking to what is the emotional engagement that we've got with the brand, with the property. And Patrick showed us wonderful examples yesterday on how do you create that kind of atmosphere and the emotional engagement to be able to have this emotional journey. Because nobody is buying hotels, nobody is buying places anymore. They are buying experiences, and they're buying the opportunity to engage with the experience and improve their engagement and their awareness. There are a lot of people in this ladder, and here is from the inactive and the people who are looking to places, all the way to the people who are actually creating content. People who are actively engaging and they are saying things about your place. People can say good things or bad things. So it's your responsibility to give them, to feed them with good stories. Now, you've got the most wonderful coffee in the world, but you're not serving it. In my hotel, when I ask them for an espresso, they look at me like it's a little bit of an inconvenience, and then they charge me extra for it on breakfast. Because it's convenient to give the horrible coffee that they're giving everybody that has been brewing there for 3 hours. It's not rocket science, is it? Anybody who is staying at the Torre de Cali? Who is staying at the Torre de Cali? Can you hear the air conditioner or whatever that machine is on the 10th floor that starts every 10 minutes and wakes me up, or is that only me? Anybody who's heard that noise? Go to the 10th floor. We really need to understand these things. And we really need to engage with these things before they become a problem. And unless we fix them, people will be talking about the bad things. So the message is, give them the right product, give them the right experience, give them the right thing to say to people, hey, this is wonderful, this is absolutely fantastic. Look at the food, look at the beautiful kind of areas, look at the Cristo Rey, look at on all those nice things you have got here. You really need to start with placement, put the business together, create interest content, create value for the customer, engage with the customer, and then go around. So get the customer then to talk about your content. Get the customer then to create value. Get the customer in the middle of the co-creation of the product. Because then the customer will say, hey, look at this Colombian coffee. Look at this wonderful kind of experience I got. And it's all about that kind of fun again. From attention, to interest, to desire, to action, to advocacy. And you really need to bring customers in that process, slowly and nicely, to engage with you and provide with you. So, to do that, you go to listen, publish, identify, activate, nurture, and empower relationships. And you build relationships from here where people don't know you, to here that they are prepared to make the marketing for you. So the consumer is making your marketing. So here you've got a low business value, I don't know, what's your average room rate, $100 or whatever. But here you've got the customer broadcasting information for you and becoming your marketeer. If you do this right, every single person who comes to Colombia will go back and say to the world, go to Colombia and enjoy this fantastic country. But you really need to work on this. And this is what Airbnb has managed to do quite a lot. There are a lot of people who are observing, a lot of people who are following. Then you've got people who are engaging and endorsing, and gradually the fifth level where people are contributing. People are becoming emotionally engaged with your country, and people are saying, I'd like to go there. I said to some of my students, I'm going to Colombia, and they said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Cali. And the first thing that they said is salsa. Where is the salsa? I really want to see the real salsa. And I really want to see the neighborhood salsa. I don't want to see the tourist salsa. I really want to see what you guys are dancing in the neighborhood with your friends, with your cousins, with your boyfriends, with your husbands. And that is how you are creating the development of communities. And the communities will take forward your message, and the community will engage you with your potential customers. So when you look into the social media landscape, you see that there are some social networks, you see there are blogs, forums, you see e-commerce sites like Expedia, Agoda, and then you see a lot of review sites. You really need to provide the right information to each of those in order to maximize the benefit. And I think someone mentioned that yesterday. On the one side, you've got owned media. Here you've got bought media, where you're paying for it. And then you've got earned media. Earned media is when your customers are going out of their way, and they would like to create content for you, and they would like to share a good experience for you. Here, on the Web 1 environment, you've got total control. Your website says absolutely everything, and you're controlling what your website is saying. Here, you've got very little control. Your customers will be allowed to say whatever they want. But this is where there's power, because the customers will be able to express themselves in their own way and see through their own eyes what is the experience that you're offering in the place. This is free, this is expensive, but this is powerful, because customers believe other customers. Now, we had yesterday, what about me like a small hotel? This is a little hotel in the south of Greece that is called Hotel Itilo, in Itilo. And this is, I put their strategy together some years back. And when I went there, they have this kind of page. Everything was more or less text. They were describing things. And when I asked them, who is your customer, they didn't really know who their customer was. Everybody was their customer. So we created a strategy that this was not a hotel, that was a family that was welcoming you to the place. So this is the family. They had all kinds of local fruits and everything. I couldn't convince them that they didn't really need blue curacao, and they didn't need more than Santon in the south of Greece. But hey, that's as much as you can do. And then I start talking about the characters. This is Nikos, who is the older son, who was the receptionist at the time, 16 years old. This is Grigoris, who is holding Greek olive oil that was collected from their place. And Grigoris was helping in the restaurant. He's a really popular kind of character. This is little Maria, that was the daughter of the owner. And this is the whole family. Grandmother here was doing all the marmalades. Everything was homemade. We changed everything on their breakfast, because they had a typical kind of breakfast, you know, continental American breakfast. We changed all that, and we had total local breakfast. I don't know if you can see, but Maria is bringing eggs here from the hens, and we totally changed the way we are doing things. So it became about come and stay with the family, come and reconnect with the nature, come and look after, come and swim on this nice sea, and have totally natural homemade things, all organic, all natural from the area. This is something that the Marriott cannot do. Okay, so whoever asked yesterday about the small business and what we do and all the rest of it, this is something that the Marriott cannot do. It's their regulations, it's their marketing, it's their brand, it's all those kind of things that they cannot actually engage in this conversation. So if you've got a small property, try to identify what's unique about you. What's your strategy? Where are you located? Why are people coming to your place? How do you like to engage with them? At the same time, look into your employees, because as we have got the issue with the consumers, at the same time, we've got the issue with the employees. Each employee should be engaged in this process and should be creating the right kind of content and have the right kind of engagement with people. This is a really complicated area there, because you've got to have very clear guidelines of what employees can do and what employees cannot do. But that's guidelines for you to do. But employees should be empowered, they should be part of the company success, they should improve their loyalty, and they should take advantage of their own engagement to satisfy themselves as an employee, but also to work with the consumers and the customers to maximize engagement with the customers. Because let's face it, in any hotel, if you've got 150 employees that I've got in some of the hotels I'm working with, the owner cannot be everywhere, the marketing guy cannot be everywhere. So what I'm doing is I'm creating communities of people who are managing social media with us and engage with the customer to co-create the right experience. And only then we can take things forward. This is, hold for 1 second, just for 1 second. Pause, okay. This is, when I normally say these things, again, people are thinking about the big companies, the Marriotts of this world and all the rest of it. This is a little pizza place in London. And this is how they're using Twitter to sell pizza. So it's not difficult at all, it's just a different way of engaging. Okay.
I think the greatest thing about it is just that instant feedback you get. And when we started out in the market school, it was fantastic for us because we literally sell a pizza to someone, you instantly get their opinion on it, their thoughts on it, could it be better, is it the right thing? And I think Twitter just provides that on a much bigger scale. So we can be serving people all night and still getting kind of constant thoughts about how the place is going, what's the vibe like,
And I think for an independent restaurant, when you can be making changes really quickly, this week, for instance, there's a guy on Twitter called Marky Market who tweeted us saying he had some wild garlic. He came in at 2 o'clock with wild garlic, it was on the menu at 6 o'clock. And using it for things like that, really instant ways of communicating with people who are going to come and eat with you.
Absolutely. It keeps you really fleet of foot, and you can, new producers can come on, new little initiatives. We did an Aperol Fool's Day on the 1st of April, and it was all literally dreamed up and promoted all through Twitter within 24 hours. I think we had this amazing wow moment when we had a rather heated debate with Lloyd Grossman about Aperol and what kind of olive you're allowed to serve with it. And it's just this amazing thing of like, hang on a minute, I'm just a little nothing restaurant that's on Twitter having a massive debate with kind of one of my food heroes, I guess, about olives. Yeah, great.
It does just create this really level playing field where you can speak to people that that inspire you, that are much further up the industry or in different industries to you. Yeah, and you can just get in touch with them and ask them questions, and they'll come back to you. Whereas if you were to come up to them in the street or send them a letter, it wouldn't happen. I think the visual element is really important. The fact that you can send a photo of what your special is that night, people can see it, it's just the pictures, it's on 1,000 words kind of thing. You can see what's going to be on the menu that night, and that, again, it's that immediacy as well. The other thing I think works really well for restaurants, I think, especially in an area like Soho where we are, it's really collaboration driven. So the fact that you can be in touch with other restaurants in the area and do collaborations and team up, and it's just a really great way to communicate with other restaurants in the business as well.
Absolutely, I think that's exactly what we're kind of looking to set up the collaborative evening with Barafina, and it's all happening through Twitter, and we're going to share ovens, and they're going to come and do some pizza stuff, and we're going to go and do some kind of more seafood stuff, and it's going to be great. And yeah, it's all come about through us mutually being on Twitter. I think it's really, really important for us. I mean, obviously in Soho there are hundreds of restaurant options. People are coming to town all the time. And I think you see on Twitter so often this like, I'm going to Soho, what should I eat, or where should I go? And it's just so helpful for us for people to, we've not been talking to it all, coming back saying, go to Pizza Pilgrims. It's an amazing kind of way to channel that crowd, I guess.
I suppose that's what Twitter is, it's word of mouth. It's just people talking to other people about things that they like, and sometimes dislike. Top 2 tips for using Twitter as a restaurant is getting people's opinion, I think. You can be asking people, you can really get an opinion on whether people like anchovies or not. That's the one that always sticks in my head, asking people whether a special should have anchovies in it. I don't think there's any ingredient in the whole world that defines opinion more than anchovies.
It's huge. So many responses to anchovy gate.
And I think the picture thing, this is such a visual industry, like, showing someone a picture of a dish or showing someone a picture of food is so much more. To me, showing a picture is so much better than that very long worded way of writing a menu, Gloucester, Old Spot, or with you. It's a very succinct way of communicating who your suppliers are, who your producers are, and what you're serving.
I think a great food tweet is short, simple, potentially copies in someone who the tweet is relevant to, just to kind of get the word out there faster. I think also pictures are really important. It's a very visual industry, so making sure that you take a photo of whatever it is you're communicating, make sure people can see it and share it. I think that makes it all work as well as it possibly can.
Simple little pizza restaurant in London is using Twitter to generate content, to enthuse people, to ask them, how do you like your pizza? Why would all pizzas need to be pepperoni or whatever? You'll have your pizza the way you like it, and you'll talk about it. They also ask people to take a picture of their pizza, hashtag them, and they call it tweet for a tweet. So if they do it, then they give them a little drink or whatever. Now, on tourism we've got 5 stages. We are going through the experience first, the dreaming first, the planning, the booking, the experience, and the sharing. So far, most of the tourism technology has concentrated on the booking and a little bit on the planning. Most of the technology we've got, it's all about making a booking. Now, if you know what you'd like to book, everything's simple and everything's easy. But the question is, what do you want to do? And how do you get to that decision? And this is where social media is absolutely critical, because it enables us to dream. It enables us to get different people to do things. So dreaming is about engaging and inspiring social media, through travel blogs, through travel review sites, through social media. Planning is enable us to search and compare different websites and social media and provide information. Booking is deciding and booking on different platforms and engaging consumers. Now, from the hoteliers here, how many people like Booking.com here? How many people like Expedia and Hotels.com? How many people are happy to pay 25% of their revenue to an OTA? A minute ago you liked these guys, right? Okay. You really need to think about how do you earn your customer back to your business? How do you earn your 25% back to your own business rather than supporting Expedia and Booking.com? They're doing a fantastic job, well done for them, but as hoteliers you really need to look into how you can keep your revenue to your pocket rather than give it out. Then on-site experience, this is really critical and I'll talk about that in context in a minute. And then sharing, how do you bring all this information and how do you share all this information with all the people around? And how you tell everybody Colombia is safe, hashtag Colombia is safe. Okay, hashtag Buhalis, hashtag Hello Mom. Yeah, you remember? Please do, my mom is worried. How do we engage? We engage through, on the one side, creating strategies, and on the other side, engaging. What has happened in the past is that people created the strategy and they thought this is what we're going to do, but they never monitored what was the conversation of the people who were going out. So I urge you to look every day on the TripAdvisor forum and look into what people are concerned about. Every day, first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, look into what people are really concerned about. Develop an account and reply. You're part of the industry. You reply to people in a very honest way and say to people what they should do and what they should not do. Give them the right information, direct them to the right places. Now, the other thing is that quite often people are creating information, but it's quite blunt and it's not really targeted on different times. Look into your year. Look into what's happening each month. When is your festival? When is the salsa festival? Apparently last week there was a salsa festival here, right? Look into when, I don't know, when do you create wine? In Greece, where I'm coming from, there are periods of time that we're creating new wine. There are periods of time that you've got religious celebrations. Look into what's happening and communicating the right offers. Go on your website, go on your social media and communicate the right offers. Have a look on your yield management first. Look into when it's a high season, when it's a low season. Where can you yield and communicate according to a seasonal market plan. And also look into what can you communicate using what social media, because not everything is for everything. So you really need to understand the strength of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, email, whatever, and provide the right information to the right people at the right time. This is the most critical bit, to provide the right information to the right people at the right time. Otherwise, everything is wasted. And you really need to understand all the media. And create a content calendar per platform where it says, what am I going to communicate when and to whom? Who is going to produce this? What are the hashtags? Look on the hashtags that are happening right now. What is the key issues that are being discussed right now? Be topical. Who was the guy who divorced Angelina Jolie? Yeah. Immediately, Norwegian Airlines, Brad Pitt, yeah. Immediately, Norwegian Airlines created an advertising that went viral and said, guys, Brad Pitt is single. 185 pounds or whatever it was, euros, go to meet Brad Pitt. Being topical and being a little bit funny is always wonderful. And it's all about understanding who are the audience, target your audience with the right message at the right time, and engage with the social media. Engage why the people are interested in your place. Engage why they like to do things. TripAdvisor is giving us wonderful opportunities, and TripAdvisor is not going to go away. So you've got a lot of information there about how important TripAdvisor is, but you know all this stuff. Most of the reviews on TripAdvisor are positive actually, and the average score is 3.9. Make sure that you've got a good TripAdvisor score, and to do that, you really need to promise the right thing. You need to deliver the right thing, and make sure that if you don't deliver the right thing, you understand it. And then crisis management when things go wrong. This is how you manage your TripAdvisor thing. The other thing is register on the owner center so you can have an opinion, answer to everything, provide content, provide pictures, provide information, and look into how you engage with people who are engaging on TripAdvisor, and manage the reviews on a daily basis. How many times do you go onto a TripAdvisor page of a hotel and reviews have not been answered? This is unacceptable in these days, because people understand that you don't care. If you answer, you care. I'm going to go very quickly through that. But the critical thing is to add your videos, add your photos on TripAdvisor. So people can see when they're visiting, what is your side of the story? What is your videos? What does your property looks like? And add a lot of travel articles on TripAdvisor, because TripAdvisor is very well search engine optimized. Google loves it. And I said that already. Be very, very active on forums. Understand, get the intelligence from the customer, what the guys are talking about, and what is their major concerns, and answer to them. Now, if you answer, people are getting confident about your property, and they'll probably come there more often. And sometimes you've got bad customers that they are saying their own things, but you really need to answer them one by one and explaining how. Okay, I'm going to go away from TripAdvisor now, because TripAdvisor ultimately is a matchmaker that enables the best customer to meet the best properties, and the worst customers to avoid the worst properties. But it's the cheapest and most immediate consultancy report that you can ever have. It can immediately tell you what's wrong with your hotel, and you can address it. And you can bring realistic expectations to people who are having different expectations, and provide you with the opportunity to reply. Now, I've got another 15 minutes to talk to you about smartness and where everything is going. And smartness is really about smart cities, and it's really about taking advantage of interconnectivity and interoperability of integrated technologies to enable us to re-engineer the business process through big data. It's a very complex process. We've started 2 or 3 years ago looking into this. This is going to be the research that we're going to be doing at University for the next 10 years. And it's really about how do you bring all this information together, and how do you understand what's happening in real time and reply back to the customer in real time? How do I understand where there's traffic? How do I understand what's the weather going to be like? How do I understand what is my customer wants now, and actually provide the right product and service for the customer through agile solutions that they add value? This is cutting edge stuff that is changing the world. Smartness is about human capital, social capital, innovation, governance, and technology. It's not only about technology. It's bringing all of those things together. Now, what we have is various sensors that they're collecting information in real time. Okay, information is coming from your mobile phones, it's coming from the weather antennas, it's coming from a whole range of different devices out there that they understand that they are collecting information, and they're sending them up on the cloud. What's happening then is they're coming back to us as a rain through beacons. So information is then being projected to us on our mobile devices, or through other media, on social media, on news, that they are offering us the right products and services and the right information at real time. So it's really about managing the trip of the customer from the dreaming place to the arriving, to experience the destination, to going away, to sharing information, and all over again, but in real time, and by interconnecting all the systems that are available out there through an ecosystem of smartness. This is how we are going to take all these technologies from smart cities to smart tourism, and we are going to develop open innovations to enable everybody to plug and play. So in your situations, how does the hotel provide information to the ecosystem to say, I've got available rooms, or I've got this kind of offering to do. If the weather is really bad and the airport closes, and someone would like to find something like 15,000 rooms in city, where can we get them? So it's all about interconnecting all the systems and engaging all the systems through interoperable and ubiquitous computing that ensure that everybody is interconnected and all the processes generate value for all the stakeholders. I'll show you some of the examples. So on the one side you've got destinations with all their facilities and amenities. On the other side you've got lots of different types of tourism and demand. And here is the marketplace in the middle where value is being co-created. we really need to understand the context of what's happening at this particular moment. So the context is internal context on what people like, what's their goals, their preferences, their tasks, their emotional status, their topics of interest, their personal events, their approach, their disabilities. And this is the external context. Things like season and weather, light, traffic, air pressure, delays, political situation, location, emergency, strikes, weather. All those things influences everything that we do, and that's very, very dynamic. So, for example, when England and Great Britain voted for Brexit to go out of the European Union, a political situation changed all the travel decision-making overnight. For about 2 weeks, nobody was booking anything. Now, there's a lot of impacts on that in the industry, and you need to understand what's the context of the situation and how the context of the situation is changing what's happening in the marketplace. We've got comprehensive ecosystems that are now creating, that they are matching the demand and the supply, and they're enabling consumers to engage with tourism professionals in co-creating experiences. So this is what we call SOCOMO. SOCOMO brings social media, context-based and mobile interconnectivity between the different players. Here you've got the travel industry and the different players in there. On the other side, you've got the different travelers that they are coming from different things. You've got the different context, internal context and external context. And here is the area where you've got the connected mobile devices. So what Agility will do is we'll understand in real time, dynamically, what the consumers want on the one side and what the travel industry has got available and what's on offer. And what Agility will mean is that we'll have internal and external context analyzed in real time and creating value in real time. Who is running restaurants here? Restaurants? Or who has got restaurants in hotels? How many people are responsible for restaurants? When is the last time you changed your menu? 5 years ago? 1 year. Okay? I go to restaurants year after year after year after year, and they've got exactly the same menu. Nothing about, this was the catch of the day, sir. My mom decided today that's going to have this wonderful thing. And this is really about understanding what are the market conditions, what are the preferences, what is the weather, and how do we adapt all these things daily? How do we adapt it based on the mood? How do you see the customer and say to the customer, you look like you had a rough day, perhaps you'd like that. And this is the agility that's coming through technology, is bringing all those things by using big data that are happening from wherever the data is out there. And that will enable us to communicate with the customers in a very different way, because we will understand what mood you are at this particular moment. Okay. There's a lot of examples. This is from Spain, from Sensitu, where applications of smart destinations are emerging. And this is things like video guides, geolocated tourist routes, and they're looking to hotspots in town. So here, you can see that they're looking to where the hotspots in town, where a lot of tourists are concentrated. How do we know that they're tourists? Because they've got foreign mobiles. If I've got a lot of people who are roaming, I know that these guys are foreigners. They're coming with a different mobile. So I know where the tourists are, and I know what kind of services they need at this particular time. If it rains, it may be a very different way of doing things. If it's sunshine in Barcelona, we're doing different things. So it's really about understanding what's happening and bringing the right product and services. Social media and listening dynamically, like what Diana showed us yesterday, is exactly what enables us to do that. So, some of the strategic aspects of digital marketing is really about looking into all the different value propositions, the process and the engagement, and creating value propositions that are customer-centric, they're customizable, and they're personalizable, and they create innovation, and look into the process and dynamically change the process through operations, outsourcing, and communications, and look into engagement by understanding what's happening and showing empathy to the customer at this particular moment. It's all about creating sharing and advocacy and interaction. So this is agile management by looking dynamically on all the information that's available out there, process the information dynamically, and engage in conversation dynamically. Change the product on the fly and enable consumers to co-create experiences with you in an agile way. This is very innovative. It's a very different way of doing business. Because so far the business is, I'm preparing this, I'm developing a hotel, I'm developing a restaurant, you come and sleep, you come and eat. We are going to a new situation where the customer says, I'll come and eat and sleep only if you can fulfill those value propositions for me. So, the critical thing here is that we are reversing the industry. And we are going away from the product proposition to the customer demand. Where the customer tells us in advance, or it tells us dynamically, that what I really want from you is this. Can you fulfill it, or should I go to the next guy? And this is, my friends, is going to preoccupy me for the next 10 years. But this is fundamentally what's going to change everything we do in our industry. Because what's going to happen is that agility will turn around the product proposition to the consumer requirement. Okay, I'll stop here actually. Can you go on the end? End. Just press end. Because I think I've covered enough for you, and I'd like to have some time for discussion. If you can press end. Okay, any questions? And I think I'll need preguntas, por favor, right? I think there's a microphone coming. Just press end. So press end, so they've got all the last slide. I need the last slide.
Hola. Profesor, buenos días, muchas gracias. Sobre todo por el mensaje de que debemos interiorizar un poquito más, que debemos mejorar nuestra propia presencia como colombianos hacia el mundo. A veces toca que personas de fuera como que nos acudan un poquitito. Mi pregunta en particular es, usted dice, los consumidores le creen más a los otros consumidores que cuando uno hace cosas desde el propio hotel, ¿cierto? Uno ve los reviews en Booking y las personas, claro, están como en un círculo, un club muy privado y piensa que TripAdvisor es una cosa como más neutral. Pero TripAdvisor también tiene su propio negocio, que es TripCon, otras suite que está generando. ¿Cuál es la percepción que puede tener desde su experiencia o su conocimiento ese tipo de negocio que tiene hoy TripAdvisor montado, que ya muchas personas reconocieron que es que también se convirtió en, sí, una gran vitrina para opinar y todo, pero que finalmente interiormente también se convirtió en un negocio que yo como hotelero puedo explotar de alguna manera a mi favor?
not sure if I understood your question, whether TripAdvisor is a business. Yes, it's a business and it's trying to make money out of this, clearly. Having said that, when it's a platform and is used by millions of people to share opinion, they've got very strong integrity processes, so a lot of the information that's there, it's valid. And there is a game that we've got to play, whether we like it or not. In fact, my little hotel, 23 rooms in Greece, is benefiting immensely. The problem we had was the opposite. And I'll tell you what the problem we had. For 15 years, it was the #1 in the area. But the property is a 2-star property. It charges 50 euros per night. And it is not really the best hotel. There's another hotel that's a 4 or 5-star hotel. It charges 150 euros per night. So people were coming to us expecting that they'll find the best hotel in town. But we've always said, we are not the best hotel in town. We are the hotel that honestly offers you what it says and looks after you. We are the best in hospitality. Nobody else will beat us. Now we are number 2 because partly what you mentioned about business and how it's operated. And actually we're in a better position to be number 2 on TripAdvisor because we still get the volume and the business. And I think 20% of my income is coming because we are number 1 or number 2 on TripAdvisor. So it's a game, you have to go to play the game, and you need to be very professional in playing the game. Okay? Got this.
Hello? Professor Buhalis, you mentioned about how to co-create experiences with your customers. Co-create experiences with your customers. How can it be cost-effective? I mean, your customer wants to have like the iPhone to control the lights of her room, or to choose, let's say that he wants Snickers chocolates in her room. Is there a way to find the balance?
No. You give the customer what the customer wants. I know hotels that they are giving, in Hotel Icon, I work in Hong Kong, we give the customer a mobile phone from us that has got free phone calls to about 60 countries. He's got free internet connection. He makes the phone, he makes it a Wi-Fi antenna, so he can connect his own phone without paying roaming. And they love it. Okay. It cost us $9 per day. Because there's a company who is doing that for us. All the infrastructure, $9 per day. But that's why Hotel Icon is number 2 in Hong Kong in TripAdvisor. Because it's really, you can fight with the customer and say, no, I'm not going to give you what you want. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to Airbnb, they're going to go to your competitor, they'll go somewhere else. Or at the end of the day, they're not going to come to Colombia, they're going to go to Brazil or to Greece or wherever someone offers this service. And I'll tell you something, guys, whoever has got into a battle with their customer, they lost the battle. It's not the customer who's lost the battle. And I'm going around the world and I'm meeting hoteliers who are very preoccupied with cooking eggs in the morning, and they're very busy because their reservations happens and everything else, and they forget why we're there. You arrive to a place and they start typing and they said, Professor Buhalis, I cannot find your reservation. It's not welcome, sir. Where have you been? Have you had the look? What do you want after 20 hours flight? Where's the nearest toilet, please? Okay? And then you need a cold drink. And then we go through the registration process again. Can you give me your email? Can you give me your address? Can you fill this form? No! You got all this information. And if you don't know all this information, Google me and you'll find me. Why do you ask me 20 hours after a flight to sit down and write all my details again? And you've got it from my reservation, right? The only hotel I've never checked in is in Mauritius, the Tous Rock. I never checked in. I never went to the reception. I went in and they said, would you like a drink? Yes. And then they took me to my room. I said, would I go to the reception? They said, what for? We know who you are, we know what you're here, we have your credit card number, why should I take you to the reception? Clever. There's one hotel in China that's called the Opposite House Hotel that has no reception at all. Absolutely no reception. I went there, and of course I'm a hotelier, so I was looking for the reception, and I was not very comfortable. Where is the reception? And there's a very beautiful lady dressed in black that said to me, she came along to me and said, anything I can do to help you? I said, yeah, where's the reception? And said, here's the reception. I said, what do you mean here's the reception? Where's the reception? Where's your desk? She said, listen sir, you have come all the way from wherever you have come. We would not expect you to go and find the reception. The reception finds you. I'm here to help you, anything you can do. So then I started asking her, hold on a second, how are you going to give me a key? And she had the tablet and said, here it is. I'll go, here's your key. And how are you going to take credit card? She said, here you are, sir, zoom, zoom, credit card. But I'm a professor, I'm the clever guy, and said, okay, where do you charge this machine? And there's a window in the corner that they had 10 of those machines and they were charging them. You really need to think out of the box. You really need to think about what we do and why we do it. A lot of the processes that we're doing, they emerged years ago. I remember when I started working in hotels, we had the telex with the tape. The old guys will remember them. You were typing the telex, you are creating a tape, and then you're feeding the tape. I remember the first fax I received. Wow, I was working on the Greek islands, and I received my first fax from Germany. Wow. The other thing is, do customers want to see us? Or do they want to receive a code on their mobile phone that they're going with their Bluetooth, or they've got a number and they're going into the door? And someone will jump and say, customer service, I would like to offer you customer service. I'm traveling 200 days per year. Sometimes I don't want customer service. I want the key, and I want efficient delivery of the key so I can go into my room. And when we're doing about the customer service, it's all about, it's a totally different engagement. It's really about understanding what I need. And what I need is a clean room, fast internet connection that doesn't fall when people wake up, so I don't spend the night working on the internet before everybody wakes up. And I want really good orange juice and a fantastic coffee. Am I asking for too much? And the thing is, I've got all these things at home. I've got 3 houses, and in every single of these 3 houses, I've got an espresso machine to have the best coffee, right? Now, in the professional place of hospitality, do we offer the best service? Do we understand the customer? And do we say to people, no, normally check-out time is 11 o'clock because this is the time that our housekeeping would like to go home? What time is your flight departing? Midnight. Okay, get out at 11 o'clock because I need to clean the room, right? It's really about smartness, but in a very different way. And it's not about technology. It's not about technology. It's really about understanding what the customer is about. I had one of the slides I didn't show you from China. I was in a conference in Hangzhou, and again, what happened is that the chambermaid left 2 sweeties in my room with a little note, say, dear Professor Buhalis, since you are doing a presentation, and to protect your throat, here is 2 sweeties. This was the smartest things I've ever seen in my life. Had no technology. It's just a lady, a housekeeping lady, connected 2 things together. And she looked after me like my mama. I like to go back and I'd like to stay with this hotel. And it was a big hotel, it was not a small hotel. Okay, more questions? You have a microphone? You go for it.
Aló, sí. Buenos días. Quiero preguntarte acerca de qué podemos hacer en reglamentación gubernamental para estos servicios de economía compartida como Airbnb, Uber, Cabify, porque es claro que es luchar, digamos que de la forma en la que muchos países lo estamos haciendo, es luchar realmente en contra del usuario, porque el usuario es el que los está haciendo crecer. ¿Cómo desde la reglamentación?
Because what's happening is that the hoteliers are asking the minister, and the minister is asking OMT to come back with an answer. And there is a committee that's currently looking to legislation around the world. I was in Spain recently talking to the equivalent of Coterco in Spain, and again they were saying that's very unfair, the competition is very unfair, because for a hotel to get the license in Spain they need 77 certificates and checks, while anybody else can have a room ready. It's a real issue, but I think like any innovation, the legislation is going to catch up. In several places, shared economy is illegal, or is not allowed, or is regulated. The place to watch is Barcelona, because the local mayor is against all of these things, because it has changed different, especially in a place called Barceloneta, it has changed dramatically what's happening. So it's a real question, we don't have answers yet. It's new. We are developing new legislation to look after that. Having said that, again, from the hotelier's point of view, go back and learn. Go and stay in one of the highest rating Airbnb properties and understand why they're so successful. What are they doing and they're so successful? And a lot of hoteliers, they would like to say, yeah, but they're cheaper. They're not cheaper. Okay. How many times has a chambermaid come into my room when I come out of the shower, even when they said do not disturb outside? How many times has the lady who was checking the minibar yesterday want to check if I had got anything from the minibar? Get out of my way. That is the things that Airbnb and the people who are going towards that are saying. I paid you the room, please leave me alone, I'll ask you if I need something. Okay? Understand what the customer wants. So critical, back to what we said. Nobody has ever won a battle with a customer. Ever. You get the microphone? Hola. We've got a question at the back end.
Hello. Professor Buhalis. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say hello. I'm a Bournemouth University graduate from the International Food and Hospitality Tourism course.
We need to take a picture afterwards together, okay?
Sure, of course. I wanted to ask you, about what you were saying before, about giving the customer what he wants. How do we do? I'm from Spain, but I've been here for the last 16 years. So how do we do when the system of the Colombian government doesn't allow you to make things that they are being done in Europe or the States? For instance, like the credit card system, which is kind of still to be developed. In my hotel, I had a person coming to visit me and he wanted to check the 750 last transaction that I did with the non-presential credit card payments because they think that was weird. So, which is something that in the States you don't even need to present your credit card at the front desk because they have it on file. So, how do you make understand your customer that the system here is not the same that is in Spain or in Europe or
change the system. Do you want the customer? Yes. Change the system. Go through your lobby organizations, identify a list of things, and go to your government and say, listen, we're all in the same place here. We need to change the system. If we need the system to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, this is the new system. We're all finding the same thing. Governments all over the world are the same. But governments would like to be re-elected. So when the lobbies, the professional lobbies are going to governments, governments listen. The only problem we've got in the tourism industry is that we're so fragmented. There is the group for hoteliers, there's a group for travel agents, there's a group for tour operators, there's cultural heritage. They're all very little groups. If you're in the car manufacturing, you've got 5 car manufacturers in the world that they're calling the shots. They're going to government saying, you want a factory for car manufacturing? This is what you do. You don't want it, we go somewhere else. In tourism, and I don't know your situation here, but I'm sure it's the same, they are fragmented organizations, 300 members here, 500 members there, 600 members there. So the government does not take tourism organizations very seriously. Work with your suppliers. For example, if TUI is coming to Spain and says to the Minister of Spain, the Secretary General, that I need this, they do it. I mean, in Spain recently they had the eco tax, the eco tasa. Tour operators came back and said, no, you don't have the eco tasa, otherwise we'll take our customers away. Government pulled out. I'm not saying that, but there are pressure points. So, if you're between your government and your customers, change your legislation, work with your governments. Okay? We really need to understand this game, and this game is very competitive on a global basis. Unless we work with everything we have to bring our customers in, not every customer is the right customer, right? We need to get the customers that we would like into the place. But there is no excuses for not giving what we need to give the customer, because the customer is going to vote with their feet. They're going to go somewhere else.
Álvaro, sobre tu pregunta sobre la legislación, yo tengo un punto de vista muy personal, y es el que tarde o temprano tenemos que legalizar a todos estos Airbnb, Uber y todo ese tipo de empresas que prestan servicio, porque si tú lo legalizas van a pagar impuestos, van a estar en la misma posición que tú estás. Mientras estén ilegales o mientras estemos luchando contra la corriente, pues nunca lo vamos a conseguir. O sea, es una realidad que ya existe, no va a desaparecer, no va a dejar de existir. Y conozco de muchos países donde con legislaciones muy duras como China o como México, donde hay unos sindicatos muy fuertes, ya están legalizados. El gobierno tomó la decisión de decirles, ustedes están legalizados, pagan impuestos, entonces el camino es más sencillo, porque tratar de tapar el sol con las manos pues va a ser imposible. Ese es mi punto de vista.
Muchísimas gracias, doctor Buhalis.